This Big 12 Part 2 preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Circa Sports. They're back with their Circa Survivor and Circa Millions contest. $14 million up for grabs. Get all the details over at circasports.com.
Hey, this is Eric Metcalf. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Ooh, welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
College football is here. We're doing it. SEC East, SEC West, Pac-12 Part 1, Pac-12 Part 2, Big 10 East, Big 10 West, Big 12 Part 1. And here we are with Colby Dant, aka the Dantabase, for Big 12 Part 2 college football preview. What's happening, Colby?
Just breaking down some film over here. Just like he's got a release.
Colby must be subscribed to some sort of newsletter that sends
the old guy football
sends
network.
us. It's called shout out to One Play a Day, curating the top designs in offensive football. They sent out a play from the 2017 Big 12 or Big 10 championship game. So not super on topic.
Running mesh out of I formation with the fullback rail. I love it.
Mesh concepts really have changed the world. So we're in the Big 12. That's why I'm here with my bright orange shirt to represent my Hokies, who will be joining the Big 12. We're ready to come join.
One can dream.
I think we bring the basketball and the football prowess. A built-in rivalry with West Virginia already exists.
And
Cincinnati, not that far. That could become a rivalry. Definitely don't like Mormon people in Blacksburg. So lots of potential rivals.
Is that a problem in Blacksburg?
No, I don't. No, I was just trying to.
I spent a summer in Blacksburg, and I don't remember that being a thing. But you know what? I was doing Jaeger bombs all the time. So.
You know what? I mean, you head out to Fox Ridge. There's a lot of soaking going on out there.
Soak. Hey, before we get to the over under on all the Big 12 Part 2 win totals here, we shout out Circa Sports. Not only is college football back, NFL right around the corner, and of course, we're going to be signing up for the Circa Millions contest and the Circa Survivor contest. $1,000 each, but again, $8 million up for grabs in the Circa Survivor contest. $6 million up for grabs in the Circa Millions contest. Circa Millions, you're picking 5 teams against the spread every Sunday. They also have quarterly prizes, booby prizes, $1 million the first place. Imagine having a heater of an NFL season and not being signed up in the Circa contest. You're going to be kicking yourself, and great excuse to head out to Vegas, because you sign up in Vegas, you can play from anywhere. Very easy to set up a proxy there. We will be there hanging out for the Circa football contest sign up weekend. Last weekend there in August. Come out, have a beer, crack a cold one, say what's up to Derek, hop in the pool, go to Circa Sports, and like Kramer said, we will make your week 1 Circa Millions picks if you want. So you tell us age, height, weight, astrology sign, favorite NFL team, least favorite team, and we will pick your Circa Millions picks for you. Circasports.com to get started today.
That's actually we need to make our own dating profile style sheet where it's like grass or turf, dome, open air. It creates a profile for you, and then we can pick your games based on that. Right?
I'm already putting together an NFL Week 1 3-team round robin. It's beautiful.
That's what I like about you. You know what they say? They say those who sacrifice to outcome will have the greatest chance at success, Sean.
Ryan, did you know the Pittsburgh Steelers are a home dog against the San Francisco 49ers right now? You kidding me?
I do know that, Sean, because as you know, we already previewed week 1.
Yes,
we may have gone through it, and as per usual,
still just shocked.
Got aroused by our guy Mike Tomlin in the the potential of the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. All right, let's talk college football. We've obviously you've already listened to the Big 12 Part 1, where we touched on Houston, BYU, and Cincinnati, 3 of the 4 newcomers. Now we jump over to the last of the newcomers and the last of the 6.5 win totals. UCF, Central Florida, down there. It's not quite a swamp. It's more like farmland that is a swamp adjacent. So imagine all the problems that creates with smells. -110 each way on the 6.5, 35-1 to win the conference, 90-1 to win or to make the playoff, 250-1 to win the national championship for the second time in less than a decade.
A lot of questions here, Colby, for UCF in the back seven of their defense, and that's not good if you're making the transition from.
What do you mean? It's offensive football. In the Big 12.
But I'm saying I feel like if UCF is going to hang around, you got to have a little bit better secondary. And Plumlee, pretty good running the ball, led the team in rush yards with 862. A little up and down with passing. I do think, especially maybe later months or actually early. Obviously the heat, humidity. But again, you're playing Texas teams. Either way, Orlando.
Yeah, this is the humidity conference.
I know this is koozie central.
SEC,
got to get a koozie
12.
on your beer. UCF, obviously, Orlando, not an easy place to play. Bounce House will be lit.
Moon bounce.
What did I call it? Bounce House?
No, that's what we call it. The moon bounce on the college
Bouncy
football
house.
experience,
Oh,
just like
okay.
the Freedom Cup. It's a
bouncy moon.
It's a regional thing.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
But
by regional, you mean Colby.
yes, exactly. Colby is his own region. I mean, let's
It's
be
regional
honest.
to the college experience.
I just think this is a big step up, and getting the 7 wins year one in the Big 12 with the questions at secondary, I think could be tough. How say you, Colby?
Well, I can tell you this: John Rice Plumlee, we were super high on him. Me and Patty C. When he was at Ole Miss, he flashed a little bit in Rich Rodriguez's offense the one year he was there, and I think he's the perfect quarterback for the Gus Malzahn offense because
It's kind of true.
it's a gimmicky offense, and you have this guy who's super athletic. He's also a damn good baseball player. And
What's that got to do with
he's just super, super perfect for the system and the way he runs the ball. He's very efficient and very fast. So I kind of like that. Now I hope he's a little more accurate passing the ball because Javon Baker and Kobe Hudson are pretty good wideouts. Concerned a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. We got a new DC and Addison Williams. That's
just a lot of change on that defensive side.
But they got some guys.
Pile that on top of going into the Big 12, and the schedule eye test doesn't look the easiest either.
How do you compare Plumlee to Cam Newton?
No, not at all. But I compare him to Nick Marshall.
Nick Marshall sucked.
Well, I mean, didn't he beat Bama? I think
They did.
Bama.
He was scrappy, but he couldn't throw the ball. So that's what.
Well, I just feel like that's the similar is like Plumlee is not the most accurate passer, but damn, is like he can. Any play could be like an 80-yard touchdown with that dude. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, Malzahn's a tough coach to really want to get behind, though.
But he's also a guy capable of beating you any game. And like any team in the nation,
but also blowing any game because even it seemed
the
like
Louisville game last
year.
Yeah.
I was thinking exactly of that Louisville game. Like he seems to get too cute, not only with the scheme but just in his play calling.
But that's what also gave like Saban fits at times.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a double-edged sword. You're probably gonna lose some games where you think, oh, dude, they had this, and then they're gonna beat some teams that they probably shouldn't because. He's a true riverboat gambler.
Coaches like he's coaching a high school team. He just
I like variance, so I appreciate Gus Malzahn's at college football.
All right.
Yeah.
Sean referenced the schedule as being a little tricky, so perhaps we look at it.
Well, one of the best things you can do is schedule Kent State this year. They're, I think, going to be the worst team in all of FBS.
So an FCS adjacent school.
Yeah, this one. I mean, look, their whole team left. They're like Dion's Colorado team, but they weren't forced to.
We leave it.
Yeah.
Instead of we
so I think they're going to be really bad. So that's an easy Thursday night win on August 31st. I think. Sorry, Golden Flash fans.
I'm sure the spread reflects that too. I don't have it in front of me, but then we have at Boise State, which
awesome game.
That's
but that's a tough game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what did I? Oh, you guys weren't on that episode. I want to say, man, I should have came prepared for that. I think
what
it's
do you
like
mean? You're not prepared.
I think it's like 125-11. Boise State is on the Smurf turf over the past 20 years.
In the I would imagine it's something absurd. You don't get too many teams going out there to face
No one
them.
wants to play them.
All right, and real quick, says UCF is laying 35 against Kent State. So you then have Villanova, who at times they pretend to be a decent
They'll pop
FCS
their head up,
program,
but not on the road.
Again, we need to know how much are these teams getting paid? What is Villanova's a private?
Villanova's
school?
getting paid. You think?
Yeah, they're gonna get like they're probably gonna get 1.5 million. Oh, I don't know because they were in AAC. That game was probably scheduled ahead of time.
Got a discount.
Yeah, probably
rate.
like 800,000.
You think they should just have a rate card? Oh, you want to play a Big 12? Come on down.
How much to kick our ass?
What's a win cost you? 1.5 mil, no big deal. Next up at Kansas State, then Baylor, then at Kansas. Obviously, the road games are very difficult.
Yeah, listen to this. Boise State is 122-7 in regular season home games since 1999. Woo!
Wow.
I mean, I think 3-3 would again, Villanova and Kent State gonna give them that every day of the week, but Baylor at home depends on how you think about this Baylor team. We'll get to them coming up here next, but 3-3 might be the ceiling.
No, they could steal. They could steal a game on the road. What's the state of Boise State right now?
They're young. They're super young, but
So
they're
early in the
good.
season?
They're good, but
Are all three of the road games coin flip games? Like, will they be catching more than 3 points in any of those games?
maybe the Kansas State.
State.
Okay. So I'll say they go 4 and I'm kind of with you on the Gus Malzahn experience. But it does make me think they're going to lose a game they shouldn't in here.
Yeah,
Just like
that's
last
like
year.
3-3.
I'll go 3-3, but
Off the bye at Oklahoma. Well, I think we're high on the Kansas teams too. So at Oklahoma, West Virginia for homecoming, at Cincinnati. That's a not an unfamiliar road trip, I would assume. Oklahoma State and at Texas Tech to finish it out with Houston. I will say up and down the board. I don't. The road games are just tough across the board.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm looking to play an over on a team at 6.5 and they play 5-6 road games
that are tough
and
road
all
games.
the road games are tough, it's hard for me to want to lock in 7 and 5.
I think they nailed the number on this one though. I honestly think they're going to be either 6-6 or 7-5. So,
but they're not getting to 8 because I don't see them winning two of these road games.
5 to me is more likely than 8. So I'm going
also,
under.
Gus is going to drop one of his home games. Like he's going to lose one of these.
They will fuck something up.
Yeah, but they also, like we mentioned, they're capable of beating Kansas State or Oklahoma, which is their 2 toughest road stops.
They're making a bowl game though, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think this team has a lot of speed and athleticism.
So how do you take the under then if you think they're making a bowl? This is a tough number.
Man, I think I'm going to go 6-6. I'm going to go. I don't feel good about it because, like,
You're going to go under.
Well, here's the thing. You cannot sit there and tell me like every single game is winnable on that schedule. They don't play Texas.
Yeah.
They don't play BYU.
That's true.
But at Oklahoma.
Wait, we got to stop saying
Kansas,
BYU. They don't play Texas.
At Kansas State.
They don't play TCU.
I'm going 6-6 just feels perfect. I'm going under.
Yeah, but this will certainly not be a lock of mine. No, because I feel like they're capable of beating.
Are you at all worried about? We didn't really discuss this with the other new teams. Kind of with BYU because you mentioned the independent nature of their schedule. But do you think that the step up, will just the general step up in week in and week out competition?
I think that's going to hurt UCF a little bit, especially with the questions in the secondary.
But they also are probably the most equipped to join a new conference.
I was just to me, I go BYU 1,
then
UCF 2, and because UCF would schedule more aggressively out of conference.
Give me over
than
actually.
Cincinnati.
You know what, Gus has. He probably also is smart enough to understand that the schedule is not going to look like this most years. So good opportunity year for them.
I think you're probably gonna right on it.
No, because I can see myself finishing this episode and being like, UCF is a dark horse.
Give me the over.
UCF is a dark horse to win the.
Give me the over 2, 7-5.
How many long shot?
No way, you guys are.
How many long shot futures can I take on this conference to fade Oklahoma and Texas? All right, next up, that was a hell of a Benedict right there. Beautiful Central Florida.
You brought Colby along with
because
you.
we
All
also
he needs is the
but Sean,
Gus Malzahn.
Well, no,
Come on.
I went through and I was like, well, I think Houston's a win, Cincinnati's a win, West Virginia to win. That's 3.
Here's the catch. We kept saying on part 1, well, UCF, one of the new weird road trips in the conference. I think for as much as they're joining a new conference, teams in the Big 12 now having to go to Florida.
It's a tough spot.
New.
I think it's
new.
Yeah.
It's new and strange, and some people like strange. Baylor 7.5 plus 155 to the over, minus 190 to the under, 15-1 to win the conference, 34-1 to make the playoff, 200-1 to win it all. So this is one of 4 teams sitting on 7.5 for their win total. As I have in the past with some of these other teams, I'll shop it while you guys are talking to see if there's a less juiced version of this number out there. But as it stands, because really this could be close to 6.5 here with the way the juice is. As it stands, isn't Baylor one of these teams that just has a floor though? Kind of know what you're getting.
Yeah, and I mean, I think at least going through their preview, what jumped out at me is a complete rebuild of the offensive line, which I think is certainly
so
troubling.
Maybe there's no floor then.
There is. They're also going to get more aggressive on defense. Going to include a bunch more press coverage. They have some issues on the back end. Good running backs. Dominic Richardson from Oklahoma State. Richard Reese, freshman All-American. He's back, obviously, but not a great year by Blake Shapen. What's your take on the quarterback situation?
I was just waiting for one of the players that you just talked about to have been already in the portal and on a different team.
Well, again, that's when you don't get the accurate Phil Steele magazine.
I feel like we're now a couple episodes
rate.
Into the dossier being in your possession.
Oh no, it's not in my possession because I leave it on my desk and then Colby takes it. Again, it's in the briefcase, handcuffed to his. The thing goes out the.
Can we get a scene from a movie
need to put
where a guy
air tags on it,
where a guy is walking around and gets his hand chopped off? And we put Colby's head on.
Kramer, if you think I just leave the Phil Steele magazine on my desk and when I come back the next morning it's there, you are completely wrong.
The little one's been in the office the last couple of days.
There's one thing Colby's completely on top of. He has eyes on that Phil Steele mag every day.
She's looking for
the Bible.
She's entering the metaverse looking for a battery for the controller, and I'm like, just checking the cabinet out there, and she's like, I can't, it's locked. And I go, someone must be locking up the Steele dossier in there. All right, so yeah, I mean, what's the quarterback situation, Colby?
Well, Shapen did have a little bit of a sophomore slump. Remember his freshman year, he did win the Big 12 championship.
Yeah,
and they brought in.
That's why I was high on them last year, and then kind of boned me.
Well, they lost a lot of close games last year.
Yeah.
Remember the fire drill game where TCU ran out there and kicked a field goal? Remember they threw a pass inbounds. They didn't have a timeout, and Sonny Dykes looked like a genius because the whole special teams came out all within like 10 seconds and kicked a field goal to win the game. They were in a lot of close games though. I feel like the Texas game was another one that kind of got away from them. But I actually think they bounced back this year. Shapen, whether it's him, they brought in Sawyer Robertson from Mississippi State as a transfer. Also, RJ Martinez, who started in the FCS a lot of games at Northern Arizona. So I like that. I think the running back position's pretty solid with Richard Reese.
They kind of fell apart there at the end, losing 4 in a row. It felt like 6 and 7, but they were probably a better team than that.
And one of the things I like what they did is I know you touched on the offensive line. Is that an area of concern? I'm not as concerned. Their offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes. He's known to be before he was
Oklahoma, right?
No, he was.
Where'd he come from?
BYU.
Oh, yes.
And he was an O-line coach prior to that. So what did he do this offseason when they only had one returning starter? He brought in the Barrington brothers, starers from BYU.
Yes. I had that in my notes.
So
on a mission to beautiful
on
Texas.
A mission to block for Blake Shapen.
And another thing was the regression they had defensively a year ago. Dave Aranda, obviously known for his defensive. He was a defensive coach. Won the national championship with LSU in 2019. Previously a Mike Leach guy, and he went out and got rid of Ron Roberts, their DC. He's now at Auburn, and he brings back a guy from 2 years ago who was at Oregon a year ago. So I'm struggling to remember his name right now. Matt Pollage, I think it is. But Baylor should be back, I think, and be a little bit better defensively.
Also, nice little scheduling quirk for them. School record 8 home games.
I was about to say this one I like.
Insanely good schedule.
I love the over here because
even their tough games. Good spots for tough games.
They did catch a back-to-back at the end of the year, which is never great, but they have a lot of winnable home games.
Yeah.
And a very nice well, it depends how you feel about the Utah game, but
no, I like where they catch them because
yeah.
I think Utah is going to beat Florida week 1, and then they're going to be, they just beat a team that's won national championships, and Florida's a known pet. Everyone knows that brand, so I think that's a win that they can get super excited about. And then you got to go play Baylor and Dave Aranda. I think he loves that spot. So
so they open with Texas State, a team they dominated last year, 42-7. They come back to Waco. Then you have Utah coming to Waco for a game. This is when we previewed the Pac-12, if I'm not mistaken, we discussed how Utah probably going to be better at the end of the year than they are to start the year. So this is
good spot to play Utah,
and especially with the health of why am I blanking on their quarterback? Cam Rising.
That's when you want to play Utah early on. And again, that's why I was on the under on Utah, just because I think it's gonna be. We see it all the time with these guys that do the quick turnaround, the ACL. They're not. It's almost you need that extra year. He's in this weird window where like it's enough time where he's going to be able to play technically, but he's not going to be 100%, and that's kind of what fucks.
Who did we see this a couple years ago where the team was like, he's fine, and then Derek King at Miami. Remember that? It was like, oh yeah, his Heisman odds were like ridiculously. Like he was in the top 10,
and all of a sudden he's just not playing.
And he never was all the way back. And
you play, but you're not.
Shout out to the college medical teams and their lack of consistent reporting, like the great league, the NFL. Then you have, shout out to the FCS. I mean, how did
a regional battle?
How did Baylor even find Long Island to take on the Sharks? What conference is this, Colby?
The Long Island Sharks are NEC.
Ooh.
They should be the Blackbirds because that was their name, but they switched to the Sharks.
That's kind of a weird name for Long Island.
The Sharks.
Fun aside. I used to vacation in New Hampshire at a farm when I was a kid. Again, hippie parents.
Do you know who the starting quarterback of Long Island is?
Who?
Trent Green's son.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So he's a lawn chair.
A little bit of a lawn chair.
And there were a lot of people from Boston there, and we used to play in the pool with these kids. And this one kid's like, "Hey, I want to play Sharks and minnows." Look, we had no idea what he was saying for a solid 10 minutes. Needed to get a translator. The Sharks.
I was of the opinion Trent Green was a lawn chair.
Yeah.
His whole NFL career. But I recently stumbled upon a college game on YouTube.
Not a lawn chair?
He was starting at Indiana and they were running the option. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
I love the algorithm.
So
then they have Texas at home at UCF. Again, that weird road trip in the Big 12. Then they get the Texas Tech Raiders coming to town, and then their bye week.
Let's pause here because Texas is coming to Waco for the final time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Come on. You gotta love that. You gotta love that.
Get up, Spot.
Yeah. And then you have the Butt Bowl. They call that the Butt Bowl. The BU against TT, Texas Tech. That's a rivalry game.
Like that.
That's a rivalry game. So they're coming to Waco on October 7th. Little sneaky where that one is because it's after the Moonbounce trip. But I love the schedule. There's some tough opponents there. But I think.
But this is where and when you want to play them. I think, right?
Yeah, I think 4-2 or 5-1.
Especially Utah. It's going to be hot as fuck. In Waco on September 9th.
It's the reverse elevation, that thick, humid air that the kids at elevation won't have any.
I have college football campus tour on the TCE episodes, and one thing I did not know is that they do sailgating through a river.
Really?
Baylor.
Baylor. It's right on a river. He says people come through on their boats.
That's very Texas.
So
that is very boat shoes. That's very Texas.
Koozies everywhere.
4-2 is probably a nice conservative angle here. Although as we're talking about Baylor,
I'm gonna go 5-1. Yeah. 5-1. Baylor.
Another potential Big 12 future coming.
I want to.
We made it too long into this preview to not play this.
I even think you could even say 6-0 because think about this. At UCF was the one that I was thinking is probably going to be the loss because it's before the rivalry game and after the other rivalry game. But Aranda had success against Malzahn. Remember, Aranda was at LSU.
You guys want to change your UCF prediction?
What do you mean? I just said I'm going to have another future in the bag here.
I'll go 5-1. The UCF being the one win though.
By the way, if you were wondering, Baylor is laying 26 against Texas State, and they're catching 8 against Texas at home.
I'll take the points. Texas State.
Has Colby said lay the points once? No,
No.
you said lay the points with LSU against Florida State.
UCF Kent State. UCF Kent State. I was like, dude,
35?
yeah,
All right,
lay
let's
it.
fuck
Yeah.
it. Let's go. All right. Next up, we got coming off the bye at Cincinnati, Iowa State, Houston, at Kansas State, at TCU, West Virginia. This is the home games should be winnable.
Love the fact they are going to Nippert when it shouldn't be super cold. So I think that's a win. Iowa State, that game's crazy every time they play, I feel like, but I would favor Baylor. Houston, that's the rebirth of an old rivalry as well.
3-3 is like the floor. Like 3-3 is a bad second half, and I've gotten them to. I've gotten them 7-5.
Yeah, and there's a strong
I
chance
feel like
West Virginia doesn't have a coach on November 25th. So you got to love that.
All right, so here's the thing. So so the number is 7.5 plus 155 to the over, minus 190 to the under.
I'm on the over.
I was very conservative, got to 7, which you can find some places that offer flat numbers like Savages. 7 over minus 130, under plus 110. Which would you play?
Oh, I think they're getting 8 games. So give me the plus 155.
Yeah. I think it's one of the best schedules in the Big 12.
8 home games.
Yeah.
8 home games.
And the road environments are like you get Cincinnati when it's not in November, right? TCU now that the K-State game's K-State. That's
yeah,
brutal.
it's always going to be tough.
Yeah.
But let's say, I mean, it's a simple formula: 6-2 at home, 2-2 on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, that feels very, very doable.
I agree.
Yeah, like I said, my logic was going to be I felt like I was going quite conservative there, and I got them to 7, almost like a floor prediction. So love, especially like playing the juiced version of the over at plus 155. All right, moving along to Texas Tech, the TT of the butt. Texas Tech 7.5, 120 plus 120 to the over, minus 140 to the under, 11-1 to win the conference. Which those odds stand out. They kind of don't fit in place with the other odds. 28-1 to make the playoff, 200-1 to win the national championship. The other 7.5 win total teams: Kansas State plus 470, TCU plus 1900, Texas Tech plus 1100, Baylor plus 1500 in terms of odds to win the conference. All over the place. Lubbock, one of the now 5 or 6 weird road trips in the Big 12.
The desert.
And they're a defensive team that
Bunch of 5th-year seniors on the defensive line. Joey McGuire 8-5 last year.
It's like a mid-major team. Super seniors all over the place.
Yeah,
they do have to replace the Tyree Wilson situation.
Yeah,
which
but
he
what
was good.
What a great,
offensive line. Yeah, it could be.
No, defensive line. Tyree Wilson, NFL draft pick.
Oh yeah.
what McGuire's first year and Pick Dundee was on the over last year. I just want to preface that. But he was fantastic.
Which preview? Because I know you kind of like to play both sides there, Colby.
All the previews.
Wait till you hear the UCLA team preview. It might be a little different than the Pac-12 preview. Carson Steele, he's gonna
Got
run
an alligator. I didn't know he had an alligator.
Crocky J.
No, Texas Tech though. I do like this staff. I think that hire was underrated, and I'm excited that they play a little crazy out of non-con game that I'm a little scared about to start the season. But if Tyler Shuck, which is a big if he can stay healthy, but that's what's most impressive about last year. He did that last year. They went 8-5 with 3 different starting quarterbacks. Their quarterbacks were getting dinged up every other week.
Team.
Yeah. So that was really impressive when you can have that happen. And one of those guys heads out to Houston, but Shuck and Morton still there at the quarterback spot. You got to like that. I do a little bit of concern on the defensive line, maybe of losing a piece like that. But I think this team's going to be good again. And I think a lot of people have them. It's a trendy pick for them to be a sleeper in the Big 12.
Oh, I hate their schedule.
Yeah, the schedule's a little tricky. Shall we dive in?
Yeah, let's dive in because at Wyoming really stands out to start the year.
I mean, what? Pull up the spread on that. I think I saw it a couple weeks ago.
I got it right here. It's 13.5.
Moneyline dog on Wyoming.
Dude, Laramie. That's the highest elevation in all
And
of
it's
college
week
football.
1.
Yeah,
You're still not fully in shape.
And it's an equally strange road trip for Texas Tech. I mean, you're talking about a bus to an airfield, to a bus, to a campus.
they have a long track record of fucking up P5 teams in Laramie. Like Missouri
Are they gonna
went
be good
there,
this year? 'Cause
UCLA went there.
they're
They were
kinda trash
No,
last
they ended up being a bowl team. What the problem is they get rated in the portal every year. So the first month is kind of like the educational month of them figuring out who the fuck they are. And then Craig Bowl starts winning because he's a damn good coach. But I still think it's a sneaky spot, and I think Wyoming.
Good on Texas Tech for making this road trip. Not a lot of teams would do that. And then the week
Kramer,
later,
Laramie elevation.
Oh, it's somewhere in the 7,600 range.
7,165 feet.
Yeah, I've spent some time northern Colorado as well. It's beautiful country up there.
Dundee's going to Laramie this year.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you doing out in Laramie?
Appalachian State plays a game.
Oh, nice.
And big fans of both brands. So me and NC Nick will be out in Laramie late September.
I can't wait to see the pictures of Colby and his brother with their credentials on the field.
Yeah, my cowboy hat on.
Yeah, sir, you can't wear that in the media.
I think they get past. I think they get past Wyoming, but barely. I think that's going to be a tougher game.
But then right after that, you also have a look at you have Oregon coming to town.
I think they beat Oregon
to play at Jones AT&T Stadium, which is not Jerry Jones World, also known as AT&T Stadium.
How can they call it that?
It's a different Jones.
Yeah,
how dare you?
So
I'm
confusing.
just guessing. Bill Jones of high up at AT&T just threw in a bunch of money.
It really imagine. So he's. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. But certainly not the easiest start to the schedule. Next up, you got Tarleton State, who, again, they flirt with being a very good FCS program.
They want to be FBS, but
so they're close.
I still got them. Nah, I don't. I still think.
Then you have at West Virginia, another. So they go at Wyoming, at West Virginia. Then you have Houston at Baylor,
Tough
Kansas
spot.
State, and at BYU.
That's the stretch. That's
road
the
trips
stretch,
are all
though.
fucked.
I kind of think they're gonna lose. Like I think they could start off.
Texas Tech
5-0.
plays a game. I mean, you look at some of these conference schedules when they're in the state of Texas the entire time. They got to go to Wyoming, West Virginia, and Utah all in the first 7 weeks of this 8 weeks of the season.
Yeah, I think they might drop all three of those: Baylor, K-State, and BYU.
Well, K-State's a home game.
Still,
Oh,
4
you're
and
saying
4?
Kansas State won the conference last
to
year.
me,
4 and 4.
getting Oregon and Kansas State at home on top of that road stretch. There's
just
some
a lot
losable
of
games.
There's a lot of trip up spots at West Virginia, even at
I'm
Wyoming,
with you.
Oregon at home. 4 and 4.
I got them 5-3.
So
think
you
4
have
and
them
4.
winning.
First 5. I have them 5-0. Everyone's talking about them, and then they go to Baylor,
Oh, they dropped 3 in a row.
lose, and then K-State gets them, and then BYU gets them. And
Then coming off the bye, they get TCU at home
Thursday night.
at Kansas, then UCF at home at Texas to close out the season.
I mean, I only need them losing one more game to take the under. So they're definitely
What was that number? 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah, I got them 7-5.
7 and 5 feels like a decent year with this schedule.
I'm with you.
Like to get to 8 and 4 or 9 and 3 with this schedule, I think you'd need a really massive step up.
If they reload,
I just feel like we have no if there's one conference that I really just have no grasp on.
do you believe their defense will be what it was last year?
I think it could be. Obviously,
'Cause
losing that piece. I think that's
me,
still going to
that's
be a
a
good
huge-
defense. Yes.
Yeah, but they were an elite defense.
Yeah.
They were the reason they were good was their defense. TCU next up, 7.5 -140 to the over, +120 to the under. The Horned Frogs,
Hypnotoad.
19-1.
We need a Hypnotoad sound effect.
19-1 to win the conference, 37-1 to make the playoffs, 200-1 to win it all.
This is
Did they-
crazy.
wait, correct me
They
if I'm
made
wrong.
the national championship game. Granted, they got their ass kicked, but now they're 201.
Well, they made the national championship with a quarterback they didn't intend to start the season with.
I know. I'm just saying
They,
it's
they can
it's
thank
crazy.
Colorado, by the way, for knocking out Chandler Morris.
But he's back.
I
right?
know. Well, yeah,
Is that good or bad in your
Well, I mean,
opinion?
this is another guy who's a big time recruit from.
Well, the market will tell you it's bad because they're 200-1 to win the championship.
But only 37-1 to make the playoff.
To me, this is crazy. They were 13-2 last year with the 95th ranked defense. Like and their defense could be worse this year. They're losing a bunch from their pass rush. 60% of their sacks last year are gone. I think Duggan was a dog who kind of just put the team on his back. This just feels like a massive letdown spot for TCU. What am I
Letdown
missing,
season?
Colby?
No, I completely agree. I think they went, if memory serves me correct, 7-1 in 1-score games, which is
Yeah.
almost unheard of. Like that hardly ever happens.
And to get to the national championship with the 95th ranked defense.
I know.
I mean, even in the college football playoffs,
It's
like
the Pac- it's the Big
getting to
12.
the champ.
Yeah.
What did I say?
No, I'm saying it's the Big 12. You don't need to play.
Oh
defense.
yeah, no, but I'm saying to actually get to the national championship. I mean,
well, beating Michigan was bad look for Michigan.
I actually like their defensive coordinator. I thought he did a fantastic job considering that. Joe Gillespie.
Yeah,
I think he's a very good defensive coordinator. But that was year 1 for him in Fort Worth. So I do think the team is still going to be good. It's just they lost a lot, man. And to me, those close games, you need experience. Max Duggan was old at quarterback. Now Chandler Morris, he's a sophomore. I think he was even able to redshirt. So there's that. They have that going for them. But I think just I got to take the under just based off how many close games.
6-1 last year, and the only loss was the overtime conference championship game, and so they definitely were good in 1-score games. I would say some of those 1-score games were 8 points, so a little data manipulation.
No, but there's one that's nonsense. That one is really a 1-score game.
All right, so
so
that's another one. That's 7-1.
what game are you pointing?
West
to?
Virginia.
The West Virginia game, because remember. And this is every gambler loves Sonny Dykes because it was a 4th and 1. TCU's up 3. They get the first down. The game's over. He goes play action and throws like a 40-yard touchdown to cover that game.
I mean, it was just a magical season in so many ways, right? It was like the Rams with Kurt Warner, except they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, that's a very true.
It's just how are you going to run that back in this super competitive conference when you're losing talent, when you're losing Duggan, and maybe Chandler Morris.
He beat
new
Duggan.
offensive coordinator too.
Yeah,
Garrett Riley's gone.
Yeah, but he did beat Duggan out for the job last year.
True.
No, so maybe there's a world where Chandler Morris is the guy. Defense is able to just maintain that 95th in the country.
They might even be better because it's the year 2 of the system with Joe Gillespie.
That's true.
Yeah.
I just feels like they lost a little bit of talent there. But again, obviously getting to the national championship, you would assume they were able to bring in some recruits and
yeah. So, but I still lean under, especially when Deion's coming to Fort Worth on September 2nd.
Moneyline dog.
That's 20 points. 20-point favorite. Yes, you want to walk through the schedule? Let's do it.
What 20-point favorites? Dogs never won.
They have.
I mean, do I gotta bring back the Appalachian State Michigan week 1?
You don't.
Colby loves that game.
I gotta talk about Jim Harbaugh at Stanford as 42-point dogs against USC.
You don't. 25-point victory last year against the Colorado Buffalo. So they open against the Colorado Buffaloes, even though they have a bison as a mascot. Then you have
Ralphie,
the Nichols Colonels, which that's a mouthful. You got the Nichols Colonels at Houston, SMU coming to town, which interesting. West Virginia coming to town.
They play SMU. That's the world. That's the battle for the iron skillet, man. That's a rivalry game. And SMU.
What do they cook on the skillet?
Well, they I think they're going to be cooking TCU.
Probably
That's
horse meat. Horse meat back in the day.
You like SMU?
Well, I just think it's funny. SMU and TCU have had this hatred for one another for a long time. TCU gets invited into the Power 5. SMU super pissed at that. SMU's NIL collective very, very good. So they bring in all these guys over the past 12 months. It's going to be an interesting game, and that was a 1-score game a year ago.
SMU's like, wait,
they stole their coach too. Sonny Dykes.
We can pay guys now.
Yeah, and
we got the death penalty for paying guys once upon a time.
I love that game, man. Yeah, exactly.
Interesting, sneaky rivalry. All right, so then you have West Virginia at Iowa State, tough road spot there. BYU at Kansas State, Manhattan, another one of the many tricky road spots here. But only, I mean, there's a lot of very winnable.
They might go 0-5 on the road.
You don't like the Houston spot?
I think that's Houston's first ever game in the
new
Big 12.
Quarterback. Yeah, that's a tough spot. That's a tough spot though for Houston too.
Yeah, but I just think Houston fans are going to be so thrilled that they're finally back in the group
8 p.m.
of 5.
East.
Yeah,
It's a
Power
night
5.
game. That's solid. I'm not. Sean's right. I didn't share it, but I'm not super bullish on them. But I also think they're dropping the Iowa State game. They're going to drop the Kansas State game.
Yeah,
two losses.
BYU's not, not a pushover either. I don't think.
I'm gonna call.
I guess at home I would go TCU, but
I'm gonna call for 3 losses
Okay.
by October 28th.
3 sounds about right.
Off the bye,
5 and 3.
another weird road trip off the bye to Lubbock. Then you have Texas at home. You have Baylor at home and at Oklahoma.
Yeah,
I mean, you'll be lucky to go 2-2, right?
So I think conservatively, there's 2 losses there, if not 3. So what's that? What do we get to, Sean?
5 losses. 5
so
losses
7 and 5?
is very doable. Then you're getting
and the
plus
juice
odds
is
on
the
it.
other way.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I don't mind.
No,
I think
just,
you're right. Doug, the reason this team had that year,
everything went right last year.
I got
just
a 6 and 6
everything.
actually, man. Yeah,
And we're not even factoring in some of the just outlier stuff that's not going to go their way that went their way last year. Like it's just not sustained. It was a magical run.
Imagine
It was
losing
awesome for them.
65-7, and then imagine a Super Bowl being 65-7.
No, again,
that
that's
happened in '89, pretty much.
In the modern NFL.
in the
Niners
modern
Broncos.
NFL.
Yeah.
Ryan, speaking of the National Football League, one of my favorite places to get down on the NFL, Underdog Fantasy. That's right. Use our promo code SGPN. 100% deposit bonus up to $100. They got NFL player props season long. They have daily MLB pick'ems, aka player props. A lot of ways to win, and of course, Best Ball Mania 4, where $15 million are up for grabs. Are you kidding me? Only $25 to enter, and of course, deposit $100. They give you $100 match. Essentially, you get 4 free bullets to take down your share of $15 million in prizes. Doesn't get any better than Underdog Fantasy. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com and use that promo code SGPN.
I'm trying to think. 89, 90, 93, 95. I mean, you had some serious blowouts.
Yeah, until they fix the Super Bowl.
What was
Shout
that-
out to
what
Roger
was
Goodell.
What was that Broncos Seahawks score too?
You know what they did to fix the Super Bowl? Expanded the playoff.
That's true.
Wow.
Mind
NFL
blowing.
once again leading the way. Tip of the spear. Kansas State also.
Seattle did win 43-8. That was the last blowout.
Oh, we made
Yeah,
so
that
much.
wasn't that long
That
ago.
doesn't count as a blowout because I made so much
Yeah.
money on that. I played the alt. That was one of the first years I really went heavy on an alt ladder. Didn't even know it was called a ladder at the time, but I climbed all the way to the top. All right. Last of the 7.5 win total teams. You have Kansas State minus 190 to the over, plus 155 to the under, 470 to win the Big 12, 16-1 to make the playoff, 150-1 to win the national championship. They are the defending champs.
Yep.
Of the Big 12, worth noting.
And they returned their entire offensive line and starting quarterback.
The number
And Will Howard looked good. Only 7 starts, but looked really good. They did lose a bunch of talent to the NFL. Obviously, Deuce Vaughn.
I'm going to make the case that
real quick before we break it down. Do we want to pick this at 7.5 minus 190 plus 155? The other option is 8.5 plus 120 to the over minus 170. Wait, I must have this written down wrong.
Yeah.
No, minus 1. No, that's right. So I guess we can figure it out once we get through the schedule. But there's 8.5s out there as well. They return a lot.
Well, no, what I like is, Deuce Vaughn, I was a big fan of, but
He's small.
they didn't have depth. So he was a very, they actually struggled, I feel like, on 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s, 2nd and 1s. They got Trayshawn Ward, who was a beast at Florida State, to transfer in. I actually think the run game is going to be better this year because I think he runs better between the tackles. So when you add that and Will Howard's mobility with returning that offensive line, and I like Sanat, the tight end. I think the receiver position's pretty
4
sound
touchdowns
as well.
last season. Sanat.
Getting Keegan Johnson to come over from Iowa, where we saw that the year prior. Iowa just doesn't really like to use wide receivers, which I can appreciate. But
Yeah, why would they do that when they have tight ends?
so transfer, get out of there, and you'll see some success happen as we saw last year with the Purdue wideout. I think this team's going to be really good, guys. I think this team, Chris Kleiman, I think, there's a reason. Once again,
Keeps a good program minus 2020 year,
Very true.
8-5, 8-5, 10-4. So he's been
2020 year also they economically needed to play the games. They had 40 guys out every game.
They were that
Yeah.
toss that year out.
Economically, they need to play.
But
No, they were saying a lot of teams canceled, but they were like, no, we need this. We have to feel you're playing. So it more so than other spots, I think Kansas State really got hit with that. So I think this guy's a stud coach. This is another guy that was really good in the FCS, comes up and has been pretty dominant. I think give me the over on this, guys.
Without even looking at the schedule, wow! And real quick, just as a friendly reminder, Sean, what is Kansas State? Of course, they play in Manhattan, Kansas, not
The Little Apple.
Which one of the many Manhattans that fits or sits in the Manhattan power rankings ahead of the one in New York. By the way, Sean, this program has a all-time coach. So much so the stadium is named after this man. Do you know who this man is? Big. He was a coach for Kansas State for many years.
Stan Parrish.
Oh,
Jim
boy.
Dickey.
Here comes
Ron Prince.
so many 2-star reviews coming. And remember, all-time good guy move. You don't get the stadium named after you. You get it named after your family.
Bill Snyder family.
But it's
Memorial
not
Stadium.
Snyder family. It's Bill Snyder family.
No,
so.
no correlation to the pretzels.
No, that's too bad. I'm a big fan of the old-fashioned Snyder
Bill
pretzel.
Snyder 9 and 10 in bowl games. A little overrated.
Snyder old-fashioned pretzels, number 1 on my power rankings. Number 1. All right, shall we rip through a schedule? Anything else we need to add about Kansas State? Another wild.
I mean, they're running back a pretty similar team that was good last year. You imagine maybe Howard builds a little bit on what he did last year.
Never seen a purple.
Daniel Green, the linebacker, stayed as a super senior, 219 career tackles. You gotta like that.
Never seen a purple Wildcat, by the way. All right, first up, we got the Southeast Missouri.
No, you did live in West Hollywood, Ryan.
What do you mean?
No, I feel like there's some wildcatting going on in there. Some guys
wow.
who might wear purple.
Oh wow,
He's really coming at these guys, huh?
Yeah, I don't.
Well, our boy Alex is going to be
Generally
really upset with this.
Generally, the large cats, the prey cats, stayed out of West Hollywood. That was more of a bear territory. And you ever seen those cougar versus bear videos?
Of course.
Shout out to cougars and mountain lions. They really hold their own. All right, the Southeast Missouri Redhawks. That's an easy win. No,
Yeah, no. I mean, they're preseason top 25 in the FCS, but I think it's going to be a blowout. I think
Are we
Kansas
getting not
State,
so fast?
No, I think Kansas State will still fuck them up.
Okay. Are we? So we don't want to accidentally give it.
I'm just giving them credit that they're preseason top 25, but they're going to get fucked up in the Little Apple.
Yeah, I don't even see. I do not
Now
see a
this
spread for
one
this
though.
All right, after
This
that, you got the Troy Trojans coming to town.
They won the Sun Belt last year.
Troy, of course, the alma mater of the
Not
great
fucking around.
of the
Troy.
great Lawrence Tynes, all-time great kicker in the National Football
Best
League.
guy on the team, right, Ryan?
No, that's Graham Gano.
You know, Tulane was one of the teams that beat Kansas State a year ago, and Troy is very similar to Tulane.
So you're saying Troy's no pushover here?
Oh, they're
They
really
better
good,
get this
yeah.
right. All right, then you got at Missouri. Oof. That's a strange road trip in the SEC.
Rivalry game, old Big 8 rivalry.
And then you got UCF coming to town. Definitely some winnable games here. We'll go 3. I mean, do they drop one of those 2 against Troy or Missouri?
No.
I'm a little scared of the Troy game, but I got them 4-0.
4-0. All right. Off the bye at Oklahoma State, at Texas Tech. That's a tough one.
I got them losing one of those.
Then they get TCU coming to town. Then Houston. Then at Texas.
I got them losing that.
Baylor coming to town. At Kansas. And then Iowa State coming to town.
I'll go. What's the win total?
They win the 7.5 or 8.5,
yeah.
depending on how you fancy it.
I think
Feels-
they're either
feels like
9-3 or 8-4.
It feels like they start out 4-0 and then 50-50 post bye week. Feels about like a right way to look
Even
at this.
could be like 10-2, but I think 9-3
So
is what I see.
They lose. How many of the road games do they lose after the bye? At Oklahoma State, at Texas Tech, at Texas, at Kansas.
They could split that. But I also think they could.
So it
go
sounds
1
like
and 3.
you're leaning over.
I am on the over.
Yeah, I'm on over 7.5.
Minus 190. It's kind of all right. So 8.5 plus 120 to the over. Do you play that?
I think it's right on the number. I think they're gonna be 8-3 or I'm sorry, 9-3 or 8-4.
All right. I'll join you guys on the cowardly minus 190 over 7.5.
Yeah, no, I think
Are you messing with? We'll
9-3 feels about right. I mean, and their conference price suggested. I mean, I think that's a very, as much as I think they could win the conference, that's a very short conference price at plus 470. I'd rather roll the dice with a couple of some of these long shots we talked about in the futures market versus just plus 470.
Yeah. At the same time, it's like, why is Oklahoma ahead of them? Maybe we'll get to it here, but yeah, I guess I'll lean over here. I almost would I wonder if I would. It's hard to take an under even at 8.5. As to your point, it feels like the floor is 7, 8 or 9 feels most likely, but 10 is possible. Like you said, they can play well and win a couple of those road games. All right, Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner, which almost a forgettable season last year. Definitely a forgettable season.
We should talk about the fact that
Clemson assistants not doing so hot.
Well, it's year one, but that was year one. This is year two for Venables.
Year 2 for Dylan Gabriel as well, in that system.
And that little bullshit quarterback slide shit. I hope he gets knocked out again.
He does.
Right?
He
And,
brings a ton of
you weren't-
experience.
You weren't saying this when he was playing for UCF.
Oh, he
Colby.
loved
No, I hated that too.
Oklahoma
Yeah.
plus 120 to the over, minus 145 to the under 9.5, 340 to win the conference, 7-1 to make the playoff, 60-1 to make the national championship.
The thought was like, hey, Venables comes in, their defense isn't going to be an issue, but it was an issue.
That could be, like Colby said, it's year 2 now.
Their schedule's great though. They don't play a Power 5. They were supposed to play Georgia. That got canceled. I don't know. I think that was actually Sankey's saying they're joining the SEC. We should benefit off that instead of the Big 12. So they canceled that series. So they don't have a Power 5 in the non-con. And I think that helps. And then it also helps when you don't play Baylor or Kansas State has been beating Oklahoma's ass a lot over the past 5-6 years. They don't play K-State, they don't play Baylor, and they don't play Texas Tech, who are three of the favorites to win the conference.
Finished the season well with that bowl win against Florida State.
Loss.
Sorry, bowl loss. Close game against the number 3 team in the land. Now preseason.
Yeah, I don't know, 9.5.
But Venables just like instant reaction was he struck me as a guy who's not going to be a good head coach. He was a psycho defensive coordinator, and what a shocker! Psycho defensive coordinator doesn't translate well to program changing fucking head coach.
But you got to love the schedule.
It's easy. That's what I hate about this team.
I would have made it 8-5 the win total, because at 9.5,
8-4.
You mean 8.5?
Sorry, I would have made the win total 8.5.
Oh, gotcha.
All right, so Arkansas State.
The fact that it's 9.5.
The Red Wolves. It is odd that they're on the same level as Texas and ahead of everyone else, but it speaks to the schedule, Sean. Because as we're about to find out, it's very easy. Even though Colby loves Arkansas State, the Red Wolves.
No, they suck. lay the points.
Red Wolves of London.
Week 2 SMU.
That let's talk about this one for a second. You know, SMU wanted to be in the Big 12 for so long. I know it's been mostly Texas and Texas A&M who blocked them, but Oklahoma, you could make the case part of that blocking of SMU, because Oklahoma, believe it or not, the state of Oklahoma doesn't produce that much great college football talent. They go into Dallas. Where's SMU located? Dallas. Huge opportunity to put your name on the map, especially with the pending talk that they could be in the Pac-12 by the time that game kicks.
Then a strange scheduling quirk here at Tulsa, then at Cincinnati. Unnecessary back-to-back.
Yeah, but you got to understand, the Tulsa one's a lot like Bama playing at South Florida. They're all Oklahoma fans. They're all Oklahoma fans there. That's a home game for Oklahoma. They're just playing it in Tulsa.
All right.
So, I mean, it's better than the latter, but like
if you're
it's
telling
kind of
me,
a bullshit. It's kind of a bullshit out of P5.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you're telling me there's a stable football
Get up
program,
for it, Tulsa.
you're saying this is a stable football program and they should go take care of business. Sure, but that's not what I saw last year from this Oklahoma team. Iowa State comes to town after the back-to-back spot. Then they have the Red River. What do they call it now? Kumbaya.
Yeah.
Handshake.
Yeah, handshake. Hand
Now
job.
they got their ass whooped. That's what's interesting about that game. Remember, Dylan Gabriel wasn't available. They went with the backup quarterback. They lost 49-0, and really just got their ass whooped that game. So that circle that one as always, but even more so this year.
Going into the bye, I really don't know what to like. They could be undefeated. They could also drop a game they shouldn't, and Texas.
Well, I would say, if to me the game I fear most, besides the
SMU?
Texas game, no, it's actually Iowa State, because Matt Campbell's had great success against them.
So so there has to be a loss here, and I kind of just don't mind leaning into the idea that maybe
I'm gonna say 5-1.
Oklahoma's
At least one.
Oklahoma's odds are based solely on the fact that they're Oklahoma and they have a shitload of talent.
Well,
what have they done,
and
Colby?
they don't play a Power 5.
Yeah, I mean, schedule aside, they were 6-7 last year. Now a 9.5 win total. I know second year in the offense, second year with Venables, you expect some growth. What besides the soft schedule, what's being factored into that number that maybe people are
I
missing?
think that's it.
Well, if you
What have they done
they're
personnel wise that were
Well, they were also kind of like the opposite of TCU last
Yeah.
year. You go look at Oklahoma's schedule; they lost a shit ton of close games.
Yeah.
If they can fix that, normally that comes with an experienced quarterback, Gabriel, obviously. I feel like he's been starting for a long time now. But they also just know the system better. I think they've got better defensively in the portal. So I think they're going to be a better defensive unit. They bring Austin Stogner back at tight end. He went to South Carolina for 1 year. He was very good at Oklahoma a couple years ago. So you got that, and I think the offensive line will be pretty solid for them. So I think there is reason to be optimistic. Yeah.
They'll be favored in every game but one, from what I can tell. Next up.
So what do you have them at bio wise? I have them at 5-1.
Yeah, that's I just keep
Could
thinking,
be 6-0.
I just keep thinking Venables is yeah, like there's gonna be
Who's their OC, Colby?
Jeff Lebby.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the
cha guy.
it's the cha offense. He taught the slide. Anyway, then they come out of the bye. UCF little revenge spot for Gabriel.
Yeah, and Lebby. Lebby was the OC at UCF. Yeah.
At Kansas.
Or a revenge spot for UCF.
Yeah, ooh.
I think you're too good for us, Gabriel.
At Kansas, at Oklahoma State.
I think they lose both those.
That's a tricky spot.
At least one, right?
Then you have West Virginia, a game they dropped last year in Morgantown.
Yeah.
At BYU, tough road spot.
And in November.
Yeah.
And
you get snow.
And TCU.
Big 12. Oklahoma's not used to playing in snow.
They get snow in Oklahoma.
What?
I actually, one of the times I was in Oklahoma, it was snowing.
Yeah, they get. Well, do we need to pull up the map again? It's fair. It's north-ish.
All right, I'm gonna look up the average snowfall in Norman, Oklahoma.
During COVID, I went out to Oklahoma for a week and it was snowing.
That could have been cocaine. It is Oklahoma. Now, they drop
5 inches of snow per year.
So it snows.
Yeah.
Thank you for validating.
I mean,
but not like Utah.
I
not
was
like
there
Provo.
in like October and it snowed.
Wow.
What's the win total again?
9.5.
No, I think I'll take the under. I think they're like 9-3, 8-4.
Again, it stood out to me that they were level with Texas, knowing that Texas
35 inches of snow in Provo per year. 7 times.
The more accurate way to look at that would be to find a place with an equal elevation to Norman and see what the snowfall is there.
I'm with Colby. I'm on the under here. Although
it's not by that much because of the non-con being so weak.
Yeah.
So which games do they drop?
They're getting ready for the SEC.
I'm going to be on BYU money line on Saturday, November 18th.
They will be favored in 11 of their 12 games. Only Texas will be favored over them.
No, I mean, by Vegas, sure, but I'm saying I don't.
Well, that's who.
There's no way they're going into Kansas and Oklahoma State and going 2-0, right?
No, that's so. So what do you have them losing both of those?
I got them losing both, but I could see them going 1-1.
They could lose both of those games. They could lose BYU. They could lose the TCU. They could lose the Texas. So that's enough for me to take. And you said Iowa State, good matchup.
Campbell.
So let's go under.
Messes with them. Yeah,
let's go under. Plus a little overweight on the over so far. Last team, Texas. Horns down. Horns down.
I thought Texas was known as a great fan base. I feel like we talk a tremendous amount of shit on Texas, and the response back is nothing.
They're Lakers.
Yeah.
It's like
I went to that
Matthew McConaughey gift.
I saw people ranking the college stadiums in the Big 12, and I've been to a few of them.
Where's Texas fall?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They ranked them number 1, and I'm like, I disagree. For his home field, as far as like tough environment to go into, I do not consider Texas to be.
But it could be that they have the baddest parades. I know Texas big.
All I'm saying is me and NC Nick went to a game there, and we were more impressed with the Kansas State fans that traveled to Austin than the Texas.
Could that be your natural bias to hate things that are wildly popular?
I didn't have as much hatred.
Support the underdog.
I didn't have as much hatred for them then.
Oh, so
it's been earned when they're just being little bitches. We need the Longhorn Network, and then they're you get the share. You say we demand more money than the rest of the Big 12 because the way
Colby blames all of this movement in college football on Texas.
They're like that woman that's never happy. You know what I mean? Like you could fucking get them an island in Bora Bora. You know? Which one? Steve Sarkisian. How about that?
Well, they let him drink. That's good. He's able to.
Probably gonna sue me for this statement, huh?
I just imagine that Matthew McConaughey and Sarkisian just sit naked on the sand somewhere, pound a drum.
Well,
and get
apparently
fucked up.
ayahuasca is great for Sark's recovery. So him and McConaughey has been. sucking
Yeah,
it
he was
down.
at the conference with Aaron Rodgers too.
Yeah, helps.
They got some darkness. Quinn Ewers came out without a mullet.
Well, speaking of Quinn Ewers,
He got rid of the mullet.
Yeah.
Does he get rid of his powers? Interesting
Yes.
quarterback room situation. Obviously, Ewers is the starter, but you got Arch Manning in there. You're paying him a lot of money.
He's
to sit
third
on the bench.
depth chart now.
No,
man.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I just
Dude, he's not even close to playing in college. He can't play this year.
yeah. Malik Murphy's the
He'll get exposed if he plays this year. There's no like if you're the man if Cooper and the Manning Brain Trust have any intel, they seem to make smart moves that protect their brand. They're not going to let a Manning go out there and get their ass beat. We watched him in high school a couple years back, and our takeaway was like, well, this guy's not very good.
I didn't think special.
We
at the
watched
time.
him play whatever school he was playing for in Louisiana. They were playing a Florida, like one of those academy teams of all just fucking 5-stars. They were getting their ass beat. He was looking bad. So yeah, Quinn Ewers obviously the guy. He was like the 5-star of 5-stars who's going to be the next like big. Like is he? His NFL stock
Didn't he make? He made like $1 million NIL in Ohio State.
if I'm
never
an
took a
NFL
snap.
one snap. He need the ball. Yeah.
Well, and
That's a dream.
Well, he couldn't. He left early because Ohio State let him enroll there, and he could profit off himself there. Where Texas, you can't profit on yourself until you're 18.
So there a lot of returning starters though for this Texas team. 9 on the offensive side, 5 offensive linemen returning. No Bijan Robinson, obviously.
The offensive line is supposed to be among the best in all of college football.
So
It's not just Bijan. They lost
Roshan
Johnson
Johnson
too,
yeah.
who's a popular fantasy pick.
sleeper. Really good receivers. They did lead the nation in QB pressures last year. Linebacker Jalen Ford, kind of a breakout season there. What do you make of this Texas team, Colby?
I mean, extremely talented, but Texas. So like, I don't know.
They'd fuck up a wet dream, as my
not only
high school football coach said.
not only the fact that Texas, the Sarkisian was like this at USC.
Yeah.
They had an
It's like
extremely
a
talented
superpower
team.
of Sark fucking up talented teams and Texas. Like Texas football, we keep waiting for them to be Texas is back. And it's not for lack of talent. It's not for lack of spending.
Yeah.
They're like the Los Angeles Chargers of the NFL.
It's like the Yankees.
Always a
Some
great
say the
roster.
Dallas Cowboys.
No, it's more
Yeah.
like like a Yankee analogy where there's so much pressure, the expectations are so high. Oftentimes, I mean, they've been trying to recapture what.
There's
Mac
never going to
Brown
be like
brought.
the scrappy underdog Texas team.
No, and honestly, like it's the classic case of I mean, why did Mac Brown leave?
Well, no, BYU ran for 500 yards against them.
They got tired of being that good.
Yeah.
It's that you get
Well,
stuck.
you have to be like there's so much alumni and booster pressure.
It's a political role.
Yeah. So
And like that's when you find out, oh shit, Mac Brown, he's been doing that a while. He's been shaking hands.
I
He's been
think you can see the power of Texas University by the way that SMU got the death penalty because Texas was doing the same fucking shit, and they're just the politics came in and they're like, yeah, SMU,
They're doing it for good though.
they're a threat. Let's
And-
make sure
and-
they take 20 years to get back to being relevant.
And anytime we talk Texas, we'd be remiss not to remind you of the time that politician just completely clowned the president of Texas by calling out the fact that they'd lost 9 of 12 to TCU or whatever. Yeah, I mean, look, Texas there's always a loss in here, but if we're being objective, they lost games last year by a point to Alabama, which we all believe they should have won.
That was a.
But
They
I
lost
think
by
it's kind of a wash because they
Sure.
should have lost to Iowa State.
They lost by 3 in overtime at Lubbock, tough road spot. They lost at Oklahoma State, another tough road spot, as you
and
mentioned.
they're not on the
they
schedule
should've-
this year. Oklahoma
maybe they-
State, Gundy fucks up Texas, but they're not on the schedule.
And then they lost by a touchdound to TCU, who obviously went on to.
Yeah, but that was 17-3. That was a defense.
And then they played Washington, who's a team that we all like. We seem high on this year. So that's the optimistic take, is that they weren't far away from not losing any games, I guess.
they got fortunate against Iowa State. Xavier Hutchinson drops a touchdown pass that's wide open, and if they catch that, they win the game. The TCU game, you can butter it up and say 17-10. That was 17-3. TCU's running out the clock, and the running back fumbles. They take it all the way back for a touchdown under like a minute left or something in that game. Their offense did diddly poo, to quote the great Jim Mora, in that game.
Didn't do diddly poo.
But you could argue that Ewers was dinged up a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And
Seems like he's
when he was healthy, go back to the Alabama game, first half.
No, he
they were winning.
popped.
They win that game
not only
if he
was
stays healthy.
yeah, they should have won the game even without that.
True.
But yeah, so that's what you got going, and obviously behind a great offensive line, giving him time, he's very accurate. So I'm curious. I want to see Ewers win on the road because he looked like ass. I feel like every road game for the most part.
But again, second year as a starter.
True.
He can clearly make all the throws.
Yeah, but the schedule, I think the road spots are a little tricky,
Yeah.
including if you add in the Red River Shootout, the
handshake,
whoa!
Yeah.
Sean's
Yeah.
gonna this gets Sean excited. Oh no,
Colby, if you mention the Red
Oh
River,
my God, he's pointing guns at people. No, but that's cool because
1-star.
all the guns we keep in the studio are toy guns. Only toy
except
guns.
these.
Only toy guns.
For those not watching on YouTube, I'm flexing.
those-
there's a silencer on that one.
Nothing. Nothing serious about those things. All right, you want to talk schedule?
Let's go.
Rice. Then they go to Bama.
Well, that's. I mean,
It's kind of a revenge spot for them, but it's still at Bama.
that's what I'm saying. Like, Saban's got an unbelievable record in Tuscaloosa. The only team that seems to beat them in Tuscaloosa seems to be LSU.
But
this team's down. But I think I still
Is
favor
Alabama. Is Alabama
Yeah.
going to lose a non-conference home game?
Like
Who's their
if
quarterback?
so, it would be this year. But I still think Bama's favored in this. If we're doing that rule.
I mean, I'll look up the number.
Texas laying 35 to Rice. Texas catching 6.5 to Alabama, which tells you
So that'll be a game.
everything you need to know. That tells me that the sharp money came in early on the Texas +7 because they probably see the same thing. You're getting Quinn Ewers now in year 3. Yeah. Sark
Saban against Sark though is the.
Last year it seemed like Sark knew what to do, and this is a
We
worse.
thought so,
This is
yeah.
a worse Alabama team.
True, but
all
it's
right.
Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I know, but if there was ever going to be a fun, like, oh yeah, Alabama.
I agree. I think that's a very dangerous game for Alabama. But if I'm looking at this, if I had to bet, I would say I think Alabama's going to win that game. But I think it's.
But are they going to win by 6.5?
No, I'd take the points.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wyoming. Then you have at Baylor, Kansas, and the Red River. Maybe we'll call it the Red
Handshake.
River Rochambeau. I'm going with that. Fuck you up. Best out of 7.
I think 2 losses in there. 2 losses in there.
I mean, with at Alabama.
I mean, Kansas won the last time they came to
Kansas
Austin.
is going to upset them before the.
Oh, super interesting
Yeah.
game.
I think they drop either Baylor or Kansas, and they drop Alabama.
You got them losing 3 times.
No,
Oh.
one of the they either lose to Baylor or Kansas.
Well, and to me, the way that they said "fuck you" in the Red River Shootout last year,
That was trouble.
well, I think 49-0. You're thinking about that game. If you're in Oklahoma,
Seen that in your sleep.
If you're in Oklahoma, every bar you go in, every Walmart you go in, every people are gonna be bringing that up to you. That is like it's religion there, man. So
Texas laying 6, as we mentioned earlier.
I think that's a very sneaky game because of the way they whooped their ass last year. So I got 2 losses by the bye week.
Okay. That feels like the strongest. Like that's the worst case scenario. No, they could be even worse. Actually.
It could, yeah.
The wheels could fall off. All right, coming off the bye.
I could be fired by the bye.
At Houston, BYU coming to town, Kansas State, then at TCU, at Iowa State. Jesus, and then Texas
They're
Tech
losing
comes to
another
town.
one.
There's 1 or 2 losses. That last 4 games is going, and BYU's probably a tough one.
Every single matchup there because remember they are solely responsible for keeping Houston out of like that Houston game. Even though we would probably lay 10 points with Texas, it means something to Houston. So I love it.
At Iowa State, that's always a tough place. At TCU, Kansas State
Yeah.
at home.
They're losing another game.
How do they not get to 3 losses? I don't see it.
Yeah,
Under 9.5
under.
feels pretty good.
Under. All right, we did it right, I think.
Yep. We did it right. Hey, time for our locks and future bet brought to you by Circus Sports. Of course, get in over on their contest over at circusports.com. Kramer, what do you got? What are you locking up?
I mean, so first lock, I think the Kansas State over. I like this is wide open. I'm going to end up with so many futures to win this conference because I don't think it's Texas or Oklahoma. So I'll take the over on that 7.5. That feels a little soft.
-190.
-190. Yeah. Oh, now you're bringing up the -190.
Oh, you're gonna lock it up.
I would say. Oh, wow. I mean, we all agreed it feels like a strong play, and then I think on the continue my over lock party. I think we talked ourselves into Baylor being a pretty nice bet on the over. So I'll do that. Those two, and then future. Man, I've been shopping around. I mean, we were talking about this Baylor team. I think I'm gonna have to throw that one in there too. 15-1. So now I got.
I mean, just to highlight the difference in conference price. Kansas State win total 7.5. Granted, the -190 on the over. They're +470 to win the conference. Baylor also 7.5 win total. Again, over +155, but they're 15-1. That's a crazy.
Actually,
difference.
let's do this. Cancel the Baylor over, but Baylor to win the conference can be my future.
Okay.
And then so I now have. I was just looking at how many futures I bet on the Big 12. It seems unsafe, but they're all greater than 20-1. It's crazy. And then I'll shift to give you one under. Give me the Texas Tech under.
Texas
for the
Tech
lock.
under 7.5. Okay. All right, for me, TCU under 7.5. It just everything broke right last year for that team, and it would be a miracle to get back to that run. As fun as that run was, I just think that's going to be really, really tough for them to do. For another over, I like Baylor. I'm with you, Kramer. Give me Baylor over 7.5. And for a future, Baylor college football playoff, TCU, out on them.
I will say one of these Big 12 teams to win the conference and make the college football playoff. Like,
yeah, I'll copy your Baylor conference at 15-1.
I mean, let's see. Sorry, I was getting a little distracted. I was talking with support, telling him to telling Bet Online to put Jalen Daniels Heisman out there so we can bet on it. Yeah. So now if I also like sprinkling UCF, so I'm gonna end up with Baylor, UCF, Kansas, Iowa State, and Oklahoma State all futures to win the Big.
Yeah, I got.
Is that too many?
No,
I got Oklahoma State, Kansas, and Baylor. But I mean, Kansas 48-1, Oklahoma State 50-1.
We're just gonna root for chaos.
Yeah, just anyone.
that's what's
but the
gonna
top
happen in this fucking thing, though, man. I mean, this is by far the hardest conference to
Colby,
project.
what do you got?
I will lock up the over on Kansas State at 7.5. I will also lock up the under on TCU at 7.5. And then for the play, I think you gotta go.
Beautiful, Colby.
Yeah,
Copying me again.
What did you do?
No, you took Texas Tech.
I took TCU.
Oh, TCU.
Yeah.
You're right.
He's copying me.
You did the do-si-do copy.
I mean, whatever.
That's good.
All right.
That's good. It's
give
not a bad
me,
thing.
Wobbly H. We'll call
Give me. I'm on K-State plus 470.
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I like them to win the conference, but the
But you know
price
what?
is just a little short.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have some fun. Give me Baylor. Give me Baylor to win this thing.
Okay. So I bully Colby into 15-1.
Should I add Kansas State too? Is the price? How many of these can I have and be plus EV?
All right. Hey, thank you as always for everyone tuning in. Make sure you stay subscribed to the Sports Gambling Podcast. Toss us a nice 5-star rating and review. Join the auto download army. NFL previews right around the corner. You don't want to miss that. Give us a follow on Twitter at Gambling Podcast.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
I think 6 out of 14 teams is negative EV.
Kramer. Let it ride.